The greatest fortunes in history weren't built during economic booms. They were silently assembled in moments of absolute terror. Why is it that some people lose everything during market crashes, while others emerge wealthier than ever before? The difference isn't their investment strategy, it's who they've become on the inside. Look around you. The signs are everywhere. Rising inflation, political tensions, trade wars, global uncertainty. History doesn't just rhyme, it practically sings the same verse over and over. We've seen 14 major market crashes in the last century, each one following the same emotional script: denial, fear, panic. And for the few who understand what we're about to discuss, extraordinary opportunity. But here's what troubles me. Most people are spiritually and mentally unprepared for what's coming. They're living in a financial fantasy, believing that markets only go up, that crashes are anomalies rather than inevitabilities. Today, I want to share with you not just strategies, but a complete philosophical framework that has allowed the world's greatest wealth builders to turn market disasters into personal fortunes. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound idea that obstacles are actually the path forward is the cornerstone of the millionaire mindset during market crashes. What most see as financial catastrophe, the wealthy see as the very thing that accelerates their journey. The obstacle becomes the way. And today I'll show you how this ancient wisdom can transform not just your portfolio, but your entire relationship with wealth and opportunity. The philosopher Hegel believed history moves in patterns: thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Market crashes follow the same dialectical rhythm. Consider this. Market corrections, 10% drops, lead to bear markets, 20% drops, which can cascade into full crashes. But here's what most miss. These aren't random events. They're predictable cycles that follow emotional patterns more than economic ones. In 1929, trade tariffs triggered global trade collapse. In 2000, it was overvalued tech stocks. In 2008, subprime mortgages. In 2020, a global pandemic. Different triggers, identical emotional response: fear, panic, denial, capitulation. And today, we're seeing the same preconditions: trade tensions, rising interest rates, ballooning debt. Yet most people are blind to these patterns because they're trapped in what Plato called the cave, seeing only shadows of reality, not reality itself. The practical insight: train yourself to recognize these patterns, not through economic indicators, but through human behavior. When everyone around you becomes irrationally exuberant, when taxi drivers give stock tips, when friends brag about easy money, this is when the philosopher investor begins preparing for winter. Warren Buffett's famous advice, "Be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful," isn't just investment strategy. It's applied stoicism. When markets collapse, something fascinating happens in the human brain. The neocortex, our rational planning center, shuts down, and our amygdala, the fear center, takes complete control. This is what the Greeks called akrasia, acting against your better judgment due to emotional override. Think about it. How many times have you promised yourself not to eat that late-night ice cream, only to find yourself, spoon in hand, at midnight? The same mechanism causes investors to sell at the absolute bottom, even when they know better. This is why most wealth isn't destroyed during crashes. It's transferred from the emotionally reactive to the emotionally disciplined. The practical insight: develop what the Buddhists call the witnessing presence. Notice your fear without becoming your fear. Create a pre-written market crash plan, now while your rational brain is in control, that commits you to specific actions when markets drop 10%, 20%, and 30%. When fear arrives, and it will, you'll have a script to follow rather than emotions to obey. Seneca, despite being one of Rome's wealthiest individuals, lived modestly and always kept reserves. Why? He understood that preparation creates opportunity. Most investors have every dollar working for them during good times, leaving nothing for moments of crisis. The wealthy operate differently. They intentionally keep dry powder, knowing that liquidity during crashes equals opportunity. This isn't just financial strategy, it's philosophical positioning. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort, intentionally experiencing less than you could afford, to remain adaptable and unattached. The practical insight: maintain what I call a Seneca reserve, a portion of your assets in cash, not out of fear but out of strategic patience. This isn't money sitting idle. It's potential energy waiting to be converted into kinetic wealth when others are forced to sell at any price. Eastern philosophy teaches us about the middle way, avoiding extremes in favor of balance. This wisdom translates perfectly to market crashes through the practice of dollar-cost averaging. When markets fall, amateur investors think in binary terms, all in or all out. But this black and white thinking destroys wealth. The millionaire mind understands that truth and opportunity lies in the gray area between extremes. By investing fixed amounts at regular intervals regardless of price, you accomplish two things. You remove the impossible burden of timing the bottom, and you automatically buy more shares when prices are low and fewer when prices are high. The practical insight: create an automatic investment system that increases in intensity as markets fall. For example, if you normally invest $500 monthly, set triggers to invest an additional $250 when markets drop 10%, another $500 at 20%, and another $1,000 at 30%. This way, you're systematically increasing exposure precisely when others are running away, without requiring heroic emotional control in the moment. The ancient concept of anti-fragility, something that actually gets stronger when exposed to disorder, is central to wealth preservation during market chaos. The greatest investors understand that true security comes not from a single perfect investment, but from intelligent diversification across assets that respond differently to the same stimulus. When stocks crash, gold often rises. When inflation surges, real estate frequently preserves value. When traditional markets collapse, alternative investments may thrive. This isn't just portfolio theory, it's philosophical acknowledgement that the future is fundamentally unpredictable. The practical insight: before the next crash arrives, ensure your wealth is distributed across multiple kingdoms: stocks, bonds, real estate, precious metals, and perhaps even carefully selected alternative investments. The goal isn't to predict which asset will perform best, but to ensure that no single catastrophe can destroy everything you've built. We began this journey with a simple truth: market crashes don't destroy wealth. They transfer it from the unprepared to the prepared, from the emotional to the philosophical, from those who react to those who respond. Think back to 2008 or 2020. While millions were paralyzed by fear, watching their life savings evaporate, a small group of people with the right mindset were laying the foundation for generational wealth. The difference wasn't information. Everyone had the same facts. The difference was internal, how they processed those facts, the meaning they assigned to the chaos, and the actions they took while others froze. Remember what Marcus Aurelius taught us: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The next market crash isn't something to fear. It's the very opportunity that could transform your financial future. But only if you've first transformed yourself. The question isn't whether markets will crash again. They absolutely will. The real question is, who will you have become when they do? Will you be among those who panic and sell at the bottom? Or will you have developed the philosophical framework and emotional discipline to see opportunity where others see only disaster? The choice and the transformation begins now, long before the first signs of market trouble appear. If something in today's video shifted your perspective, take a moment to leave a comment sharing which of these 5 philosophical principles resonated most deeply with you. I'm genuinely curious. Was it the pattern recognition paradox, the emotional inversion principle, the Stoic cash position, the averaged path to wealth, or the wisdom of multiple paths? Your comment helps others discover new perspectives, and it helps me understand what matters most to this community of philosophical wealth builders. And if you're committed to developing not just a stronger portfolio, but a stronger mind, subscribe to Millionaire Brain, where we explore the deeper truths that traditional financial education ignores. Until next time, remember, before you can have a millionaire's portfolio, you must first develop a millionaire's mind.